What's going on? It's Dukes and Bell on Sports Radio 92.9 The Game. We start off every day and every hour by saying, hey, man! We start off with news from our Braves, guys, as the Braves come back home after a big series win over the weekend against the other top team in the National League. And listen, don't discount the DBacks. We saw the Rangers earlier this season. They're good. DBacks are good. Mets are coming in here tomorrow. But, Mike, you just mentioned it in the crosstalk with Andy and Randy about Soroka, and now we find out this.
Yeah, they're optioning him back to Gwinnett. So more work. I wouldn't say back to the drawing board, but he's definitely got to straighten some stuff out. I heard some of the sound bites this morning, and I heard it on Andy Randy. Soroka's own words. Carl's going to put up zeros. You know, he's got to do better. You cannot come up to the show and just get shelled, and he's been getting shelled. ERA's way too high, pitching to way too much contact, and hopefully they can figure something out. Otherwise, you know, this storybook ending that everybody's hoping for, we might not get to, but more work continues.
Yeah, and listen, I want to give him a break, okay? This is like, it's similar but different because of the circumstances. But Deshaun Watson missed basically 2 seasons of football. He looked like it last year in the 6 games we saw him in. Guys, you just can't pick up a ball and go play. This isn't, a situation where you're not playing against the top talent in the world. So for Soroka, it's basically 2 years. And I wanted to see him, Mike. You wanted to see him. We said it because we need him because of the injury situation. So, yes, he's kind of been forced into action maybe a little bit sooner than maybe they wanted to. But at the end of the day, he's showing he can pitch. Right. He's just not finely tuned like he once was, and they got to work on that. So this is not necessarily a demotion. This is let's continue to work so that we can get back to using you, Mike, maybe in late July or August, and you're fine-tuned. And this is when those games are going to matter, where we have Soroka maybe back in the rotation.
The best team in the division right now is the Marlins. As far as a hot streak, they are 7-3. Braves are still playing 500. Remember, as you and I went into the weekend, the Mets were really red hot. Then they just lost 3 in a row.
Right.
So it's a very strange division. The good news is still got the high ground, 3.5 games over the Marlins, but still a little concerned over the pitching. Still concerned about Michael Harris. He did hit into it seemed like every other at bat he was hitting into a double play this weekend, but hopefully he'll continue. But we'll get through the lineup and see who's looking good and some guys that need some improvement. Simple thing, we started the show talking to Andy Randy. If you're going to sit there and stare at something that's gone 405 feet and the fence is 415 feet, that's going to be a problem. And Skipper took out Ozuna, and that's all she wrote.
Yeah, if I'm Ozuna from the Braves. I want to do everything I possibly can, right, to make this right. It started off slow. He knows we were riding him, not us, you guys, and us as a fan base. We were like, what's going on with Ozuna? And it was a running joke for me because every time he got a big hit, I was like, you guys still want to trade him. But if I'm him, I'm trying to do everything I can, Mike, to show this fan base and to show my teammates, hey, I'm all in. I know I got off to a slow start. I know the last 2 seasons have been a mess. Right. I've been stealing money, but I'm going to do everything I can. And so when these situations play out, it just makes me upset because I'm like, if anybody on the team needs to be running it out, right, it's Ozuna from the Braves.
And that's just it. I mean, it's not the end of the world. I got a kick ESPN was covering it like it was Billy Martin pulling Reggie Jackson at Fenway out of right field. It's not that big a story, but it is for the Braves, and it is everything Carl just said. When you've had the off-field stuff and the lack of performance until recently, you got to be doing it better than everybody else. You got to be walking the line, so you don't do the no-hustle stuff. So, as the Snicker says, he'll learn from it, but it's not like the guy's a cancer in the locker room. I keep reading this on Twitter. Everybody in that locker room, the guys like this guy, okay? There's no problem. And more importantly, Carl, he's doing his job. That was just simply that was a boneheaded old school, and you get called for it, and that's all there is to it.
Yeah, and it's not the first time. I mean, other guys have been benched because of this. This is just fundamental baseball, though. That's the problem. This isn't something that you go, well, he's got to work on. No. This is fundamental baseball. Our man Bo, who's running the board for us, he's coaching his girls in softball. Get a hit, ladies. Run the first base, okay? Run it out. Run it hard. I don't care how you get there. If you miss, if they get you out, so be it. But this is fundamentals, and I don't want to lose games, Mike. We were lucky to win yesterday, and it was all because of Eddie Rosario. Guys, do you realize Eddie, with that grand slam, ranked second in the National League in OPS, which is on base, and slugging percentage in the 8th inning or later.
Wow.
So he is crushing it late in games when he's being put into these situations. And he comes up big yesterday. He also came up big on Friday. The solo homers in the 2nd and the 7th inning were the reason why they were able to win this series because of Eddie Rosario.
Man, what are they going to do with Michael Harris? You just got to let this guy play out of it, Carl. He's 2 for 19 on the road trip, he wound up being. I mean, that's bad. It's some awful at-bats.
You paid him. You got to do it. Once you make this kind of financial commitment, which I have no issues with, all right? What we saw last year was not a fluke from Michael. But the problem is this is baseball, and consistency is key, and it's why it's a failure game. You strike out more than anything. So when you have a situation like this and a young guy, we forget he played one season. He played like 78 games,
right.
Okay? You got to find a way, Mike, to just let him work through it. But the financial commitment now that you have connected to him, you're basically forced to let him try to work through this. Now, if this continues, and let's just say we get to, I don't know, August, and we're still talking about this,
right.
Then it's a problem.
Yeah, it's just when we're at a sports bar and you're watching Harris and he hits into a double play or he takes a bat at bat, swings wildly at the first pitch. And it's funny, I was down to Taco Mac, looking at my buddy, we're like, everybody's kind of rolling their eyes. Like, this is going to get better, right? This is going to improve. Meanwhile, Vaughn Grissom is hitting the cover off the baseball down in that different position. Obviously, he's playing short. But you just, like, everybody loves Michael Harris. He's a local kid. But I got to be honest. These last 6 games, it's been like really, Carl, you're like, it's excruciating. 2 for 19. Hopefully he gets it together.
Yeah, and I do too. And Bo behind the glass, Chris, our turtle behind the glass as well. He's executive producing. But Bo just said he's got a positive WAR. That's baseball term,
right.
Meaning for his defense. He's still so stout defensively. That's the other reason why you can't pull him. If he was failing in both areas, Mike, this would be an easy decision. Defensively, you still have one of the best defensive outfields in the Major League Baseball, especially with the stinking Mets coming in here. 404-726-0929. It's our Solomon Brothers Diamond text line. You can text us. Find Mike on social media. He's Mike Bell, ATL. I'm at Put 'em Up. See Dukes and this radio show. Dukes and Bell, 929. Follow the radio station at 929 The Game. Stay up on everything that's going on. So, Braves remain in first place. That's the good news. Acuna for life continues to do special things as I think he's on his way to possibly an MVP season. And then you talk about the bullpen, Mike. Yesterday, the bullpen was the MVP. You only got 3 2/3 from Soroka. Right. And then the bullpen comes in. McHugh, you talked about Solver, Minter, and then Iglesias. These guys were damn good.
Yeah, man. A.J. Smith-Sharp, and you wonder when they may give him a spot start. He's 20. He looked like he was certainly ready for it after he had that first bat he got through, and then a couple of strikeouts. I mean, dude was he was humming. A lot of motion on the fastball. Just looks the part. Only 20, just 2 years removed from high school senior, which is crazy. But that was kind of a pump in a shot in the arm. Minter didn't stink, and then Iglesias. Now again, when Iglesias walked the leadoff batter, I was ready to throw something at the television, but he was able to get through the inning. And then also, while we're going through the lineup, hats off to Ozzy Albies. Had a monster day, home run 4 for 5 with a couple RBI. So everybody doing their job. But now the rubber hits the road, Carl, with the Mets. And the Mets will be looking to get some momentum in this series against the Bravos. And certainly the Bravos will be looking to put the Mets further down in this division.
Yeah, Mike, Mets come in here. They're not in first place. They're not in second place. After spending all of that money, they're still looking up to us. We run the East.
They're actually looking up at the Marlins, too.
Hello, Mets fans. This is what we were talking about. You guys went and spent all that money in the offseason, and you thought everything was going to be yours, and you've done, you want to say it with me? Nothing in this division yet. So, tomorrow, I can't wait till this series starts, by the way, because Mike, I don't know what it is. I like beating up on the Mets. I don't know what it is.
I mean, there was a time that, as a kid growing up, that was my team growing up. But now you look at these guys and the fan base and the owner and everybody, and some of the personalities on the squad, they're a very unlikable group.
Never lose!
It's just a very unlikable group of individuals. So, yeah, man, from the polar bear to the pitching staff and everybody else to that nonsense. Yeah, man, let's keep them down. Know your role, Mets. And hopefully Braves keep on trucking.